My name is Alex. My pronouns are she, her. Orientation, I am a pansexual transgender woman, and my age, 50 billion years old. I'm kidding, I'm 19. I am from right here in Grays Harbor up until I moved out of my parents' house. I lived in the same house that I, came home from from the hospital in. So, I've always been stuck here. No. Well, officially, I realized my identity as, like my mother said, it's kind of been, quite the timeline. So I can tell you, going back as early as, grade school, there were times where I definitely always felt more feminine. There was even like a 2-month period where I asked for my friends to refer to me as a girl. Somehow that didn't set off alarm bells for anybody. And it took me until I was 18 to realize that I was in fact a woman. But no, I was 13 when I came out as bi/pan, and I was 16 when I was 16. I started identifying as non-binary because that is what fit best at the time. And then I found language for trans feminine non-binary, and that worked well for a little bit. And then I realized that, and this does not happen to every person. In fact, it happens to not a whole lot of people, but it is a thing that happens. I realized that that was also incorrect, and that I was just full. It was scary. As someone who had, a lot of health issues, I was so allergic to peanut products that if I touched peanut products, I would go into anaphylactic shock. So I was easily targeted. I was easily harmed. And that made things a little interesting because before I knew what the word gay even meant, it was being used against me as a slur in the hallways. And I remember coming home and asking Mom, what does this mean? The kids are yelling it at me. And she's like, well, Aunt Bill and Uncle Stan? I'm like, yes. And she's like, they're two men that love each other very much. I'm like, yeah. She's like, that's what gay is. I'm like, oh, okay. Why are they saying that like it's a bad thing? I could never understand why people would refer to, the LGBT community in a negative connotation. And even before I came out, I was an ally of the LGBT community. In 5th grade for Martin Luther King Day, we all had to write I Have a Dream speeches. And mine was about my dream that, people within the LGBTQ community would someday have, equal rights and be treated as equals. And my essay was picked to be presented at the school assembly, and my principal did not want that to happen. And so, Mama Bear went in and talked to them, and it happened. But, there was, of course, a lot of pushback, and people weren't happy, but I was never interested in making mean people happy. And I'm still not interested in making bad people happy. It was scary. I think it's scary for everybody. Just because that's a big thing to come to terms with yourself. And, really, it shouldn't be a big thing. And hopefully we'll get to a point where it isn't a big thing. But that is kind of a big thing to be able to admit to yourself and then to tell the people that are closest to you. It's scary, but I have a lot of support in my circle and within my family, so, it was only scary for a little bit. It was scarier at school. I remember when I first started doing drag, actually, and you can totally edit this part out, but I started doing drag publicly over winter break, and I had created a Facebook page, and my drag name at the time was Cinnamon Bun. And I remember the first day coming back, I was in 8th grade, I think. Yeah. The first day coming back to school after winter break, I was in gym, which is terrifying for anyone in the queer community, usually. And I'm sitting there, we had just finished warm-ups, and we're, splitting off so that the straight dudes can play basketball and lift heavy things, and I can, walk and earn half credit. And I heard someone shouting my drag name from across the room. And I immediately was terrified. And this guy runs over to me and says possibly the least comprehensible sentence I've ever heard in my entire life, which was, "So, are you one of them hermaphrodites?" He wasn't very happy with me because all I could do was laugh at him because I couldn't understand. I knew what he was trying to say, but I'm like, if you're gonna insult me, at least use real words. That'd be nice. Yeah, I remember coming home and telling my mother about that, and you can cut this because she was like, "Well, yeah, of course I'm a hermaphrodiite. I get sick of my one gender shell and then I go crawl into another one." Hermit crabs. Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, it was definitely scarier to come out publicly than it was to come out to my family, because I knew that there would be a lot less support publicly, and that, being so susceptible to harm, and I had people tell me in the past, "I will put peanut butter on you. You will die." I'm like, "You can do that, and I believe you." So, it was scary, but once again, I'm not interested in making mean people happy. I'm interested in making me happy. And coming out made me happy. My family, of course, was fantastic. There are a few family members that are just, not along for the ride. And there are a couple family members that, unfortunately, I'm still not out to. I think they've started to get the message, because, you can't look this drop-dead gorgeous without them, having suspicions. But there are a couple people that I'm still not out to. But no, in general, my family was fantastic. I never really had a lot of friends, but the friends that I did have were really great as well. If there's anything else I would like to say, just listen to yourself. I have a lot of issues that I am dealing with regarding the fact that I didn't realize my identity sooner. And it's really important to listen to yourself. Check in with yourself. Ask yourself who you are and what you want out of life. Because we're not here for anybody else. And I've said a lot of times, and I'll say it again, I'm not here to make mean people happy. In fact, I'm not here to make anybody but me happy. Because at the end of the day, I have to be with myself 24/7. And I don't get the choice of,
Don't worry.
The wind's getting a little frisky here. I don't have the choice of, stepping away from myself. So I need to make me the best me that I can possibly be and live as authentically as possible. I'm not doing this for anybody else. I'm doing this because this is what I want. This is who I am. And you owe it to yourself to make sure that you are exactly who you are. Given that everybody has free will and I'm not in control of the entire world, which is really mean, by the way. I think it would be a really good idea to give me complete control. But given that that has not yet happened, the only thing we have control over is ourselves. And take that and run with it. That's the one thing you've got a lot of the time. So take it, decorate it, make it exactly what you want. Your body, your mind is yours, and that's the only thing that you have that can only ever belong to you. And just make sure that you're doing what you want with it. I mean, hopefully I will gain complete and total power at some point, and that should give us all hope. But other than that, I think things are changing for the better. I was kind of the first very outwardly queer person at my school. And unfortunately, I walked so that these bitches could run. And but there are a lot of people that have done an awful lot of walking, and we're getting to the point where the marathon is about to start. And loose and run. And things are getting better. And just like my mom said, change is not linear, and change is scary. It can be really tough sometimes, but things are getting better. And as long as you are honest with yourself, and you're doing what you feel is best for you, good things will come, and you will be a lot happier.